Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon and Drew coming at you today. Noah's got a little bit of the, stomach bug. It may be.
He's got the case of the Mondays.
It may be a case of the Mondays. Can't come in, boss. I'm sick. But anyway, you stuck with us. Today we're going into our Dogs of the Week. Is this part 4?
I think it's part 4. I think
part
we did
4.
a week 0 edition.
We did a week 0 edition. That's correct. As you can tell, without Noah here running the ship, we're a little out of sorts. But we're going to do our best here. But anyway, it is always a pleasure to be here. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I think this is overall maybe the weakest weekend of college football, in my opinion. But also, I got a good sweat in my team. My team cut it unnecessarily close, so I still got a good sweat in.
Yeah.
I'm just glad the week's over, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's our buddy over at Film Stock, Chris Bowie, go check him out. He brought up a good point Saturday at around 4 o'clock that I think I agree with. Like, being on campus and everything, it's great if you're going to the game, if it's a night game. But if you're just watching at home, I hate to say this, but you kind of want to get it over with. So you can actually enjoy the rest of your day. You don't have to really worry about anything. But yeah, I just felt like I was kind of sitting around waiting for the Georgia game to come on. Thoughts on that? Yeah?
Yeah, I felt very similarly. I had higher hopes for Alabama, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Tyler Van Dyke gets injured pretty early. The backup comes in.
Yeah.
He's pretty rattled. They weren't the same the whole game. Alabama kind of smelled blood in the water, I think, and it was
over.
Wraps.
It was over before it started. Yeah.
I didn't really watch much of the Colorado State game. Obviously, Colorado handled them.
Yeah. Wasn't worth watching.
I mean, outside of the Georgia-Kentucky game, which was obviously surprisingly close.
Yep.
Not much. You had Memphis, Florida State. That was a decent one.
Yeah.
Florida State still sucks. I mean, that's kind of the only takeaway.
Yeah. Surprise.
Other than that, a very weak in my opinion. But we're coming up on the meat and potatoes of the season, and there's a lot of good games in front of us.
Yep. But I mean, there were some really quality close games throughout the day, and I think we're going to get into that with our Dogs of the Week here. So, Brandon, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off, man. Who is your Dog of the Week?
I'll kick it off. There's a couple games I left out purposefully because we're going to talk about them for our Dogs of the Week.
Yep.
The first of which is my Dog of the Week, and then I'll take Noah's later. He has submitted his dog. I'm going to talk in place of him and explain it however best I can. But for me, I have Marcel Reed. And if you didn't catch the Florida-Texas A&M game, he was the backup quarterback for Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. Kind of last minute, it's announced that Connor Weigman isn't going to be able to play, so he steps into that starting role. I don't know if it's his first start in college football necessarily. I think it's his first start for Texas A&M. And he pretty much dismantled Florida. It was pretty heavy rain. I live in the area, so it was. They played it right around that time of day in Florida. If you've ever been to Florida or lived in Florida, from probably late July through the end of September, certain time of the day where it pours rain for about an hour straight and the sun comes back out.
Yep.
It was a 3:30 kick, so it was right in that sweet spot. But the rain didn't really slow him down that much. He had 178 yards through the air with 2 touchdowns, and then on the ground he had 83 yards and another touchdown. So obviously, Florida has not looked very great this year.
Nope.
Nonetheless, I think the Swamp is still a pretty intimidating environment. The fan base shows up pretty heavily through thick and thin, especially the people that are showing up to the games, even now. And yeah, he balled out. I thought he was going to send Billy Napier into packing his bags. They haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, but they're getting close.
I saw a 7 o'clock Sunday morning board meeting was called.
I saw that too.
So yeah, sorry.
They're talking at least.
Yeah, they're having chats.
Talking about the prospect of it, but and also another interesting storyline in this game was the Texas A&M. One of the Texas A&M running backs was Emmitt Smith's son, and Emmitt Smith was there. He was honorary Mr. Two Bits. Drew, I know you don't know what that is. I'm sad that I know that I know what that is, but it's this shit at the beginning of the game where they like point to different sides of the stadium and yell. It's kind of like the Georgia Bulldogs chant, but a little.
They have a title for that?
Yes. I don't understand the full lore. I don't know if I want to know. But anyways, it's kind of a sacred thing for them, I think. And,
that's good.
Emmitt Smith was there for them, and then his son. I don't know his exact stat line, but he had a pretty good day.
Very nice.
So A&M looked good, and I don't know. I think Wegman might get the spot back when he gets healthy, but Marcel Reed made it at least a decision for the coaching staff, so he bought out.
Yeah. Anytime as the backup quarterback, you can step in and not only fill that role, but potentially supersede expectations that the starter had, and at least make it a conversation. I think he had a pretty good game. Last week, I hated to make this a quarterback award. However, I think I've got to keep it going here. When you have a game like this, it's hard to ignore. And I even tried looking at, some of the wide receivers he was throwing to. But he did as good a job as any quarterback could with spreading the ball out, and was able to succeed both through the air and with his legs. Talking about Eli Holstein, the quarterback for Pitt. The guy went 21 for 30 for 301 and 3 touchdowns, with another 59 yards rushing. He had a little 24-yard jaunt, just pull that one out of He led the team in rushing, which I get it. Like in Pittsburgh's offense, it's not uncommon for the quarterback to get his scramble yards accumulated there for him to lead the team in rushing with how pass heavy their offense is. But hey, you got to take what the defense can give you, and he did that. I feel bad for him because statistically speaking, this is arguably his worst game of the season. Actually, that's not true. It's only his only game without an interception. But, against Cincinnati, he had 302 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then against Kent State, he had 333 yards and 3 touchdowns. But like I said, he got rid of the interceptions, which I think in this offense, that's the more important piece. It's not really, shining where you need to shine. It's cleaning up the dark spots on the box score. So, yeah, Eli, good job, man. I watched the game. It was very exciting. It was much more exciting than a lot of the other games that were on TV. I think the Backyard Brawl, made that area of the country very proud. And, it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Very nice. I think I didn't tune into this one, but I do think that the Backyard Brawl is one of the more underrated rivalries in the landscape of college football.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they've kept it alive despite being in 2 different conferences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I like it. I like the cross-conference. It doesn't matter. Still going to play it. Keeping the tradition. Yeah. And there was another rivalry I'll mention before I get into Noah's dog that I didn't know that was on this week. I need to go back and watch the highlights, but so I didn't catch much of it. But it was the Apple Cup.
The Apple Cup, yeah.
So on week 3.
Upset, baby.
So, yeah. Yeah, I forgot Mr. Will Howard was the quarterback out there in Washington.
Yeah. So, yep. Caught that one off.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Are they? No, they're still the Pac-12 technically, which is crazy to me. Let's go back to week 3.
Yeah. Pac-2.
Yeah, the
West, 2 Mountain West.
The 2-pack. Yeah, honestly, if you're the Mountain West, are you pissed? I think you would have rather formed a merger or a coalition or something. Yeah.
In that case, they're just jumping ship, so
yeah,
they'll have to supplement from somewhere else. But
yeah,
as it stands, I believe they're only at 6 members. They need 8.
They need 8 to
qualify
qualify
as a power conference.
Yep. But 24-19, it's a good game, good upset, go Cougs.
Yeah.
So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some interesting week 3 matchups, early season rivalries being played that kind of flew under the radar in my opinion. But anyways, we're gonna end it out. I think this is, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first dog we have from a team that did not secure a win. However, one could argue that South Carolina very much deserved the win in this game, were it not for a few unfortunate calls from the officials. Unfortunate being maybe the understatement of the evening.
Go check out our TikTok and our YouTube Shorts and our Instagram. If you'd like more detail on that video, please let us know in the comments, and we will record it later this week. Brand, you have the floor.
Thank you, Drew, for plugging that. But the dog that Mr. White has handpicked is Raheem Sanders, the running back for South Carolina. He had quite the stat line. Should have had a W to go with it, I think, but nonetheless, he had 19 carries for 143 yards. That is 7.5 yards per carry.
Jesus. And
2 touchdowns with a long of 66. And then he had 1 reception for 11 yards. So, I mean, combined on the day, 150 plus all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty damn good day for him. Unfortunate, the result of that game. 2 absolutely massive plays being called back for questionable calls. Like Drew said, go check out the short form TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. We might make a video later in the week. But across college football, I think that was kind of one of the themes of the day was some very questionable officiating. But nonetheless, our dog, Noah's dog of the week, goes to Raheem Sanders and his effort in the loss.
I mean, I don't know. Now that the floodgates have been opened to guys that put it all out there and didn't win the game, I'll be curious to see if that kind of changes how we think about this award moving forward in the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I like the idea. I mean, because, you don't have to win to be a dog.
No, you don't have
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, obviously, admittedly, coming into the week, I'm like, why the hell are they going to South Carolina, LSU for game day?
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina surpassed my personal expectations.
Yeah.
They took it to Kentucky, and they kept the momentum going, and they gave LSU a hell of a scare. So, Beamer ball may be back. Who knows?
They might be.
We won't. Georgia does not play them this year for the first time in many years, I think.
Yeah. They were our SEC opener for as long as, at least since we were in high school. At least.
Yeah. No, it's been a while since we haven't played them in the regular season. We usually face each other, like Drew said, as the SEC opener. Kind of weird this year, but maybe we don't want to play them this year.
Yeah.
They've looked so far with our with Georgia's already daunting schedule.
Yeah.
But I think they're, there's a few. I don't know their entire schedule, but there's a few teams I think they're going to beat that they maybe shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean that was
the SEC.
That was one of the things that I was thinking, like just after halftime, playing Kentucky. I was like, God, with how South Carolina looked last week and how they look today, I'm really glad we're not playing them right now. Like that's a scary thought to have, as apparently the number 1, now number 2 team in the nation. Those are thoughts that you shouldn't be having. But hey, it is what it is. This is
hopefully go ahead.
I was going to say this is a deep conference. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully they can get Lenore Sellers back. Obviously he had an injury. Tried to come back, couldn't play, and then they were stuck with Robbie Ashford, who was a threat on the ground, not as much through the air.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking through the schedule real quick. We won't get on too much of a tangent, but I'm really interested to see them October 19th go into Norman and play Oklahoma. I think that could be a potentially pretty fun one. And then they get Missouri at home. So
yeah. No, that'll be interesting.
I don't know. I think they could play spoiler to a few people on their schedule.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's been their MO for the past couple of years. They've either been towards the bottom of the SEC or in the middle of the SEC, losing to teams that they shouldn't lose to and beating teams that they shouldn't beat. So it'll be interesting to see if they can, kind of like Eli, like I mentioned on him earlier. If you can just clean up the bad marks on your resume, then you do have a huge upside, which South Carolina has obviously shown that they have the capability to do so.
for sure.
All right. Well, I think that was great.
Yes, sir.
Any honorable mentions you want to throw out there? I don't really have anybody on deck, so no pressure there. I just want to ask.
I will say, as a Georgia fan, that Kentucky running back was covered in oil, and they said his name so very often, I still can't remember it, but it was a really long name. So props to him. He was making us look silly.
Props to him. That's funny.
That's all I got. I don't know anybody else.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. I'm just gonna go back real quick. If I had to hear one more time about the 17-year-old wide receiver, I was gonna cry.
It's becoming like did you know Matthew Stafford and Clayton Kershaw went to the same high school?
Yeah.
It's becoming like that.
Do you know that his name is actually Maserati Marv? Are you talking about? Oh Jesus, Demi Sumo Carnbay. Listen. This is not a phonics channel. This is a college football channel.
Okay, that's how you spell it. The announcer I forget who was on the call. It's Jesse. I don't know if it's Jesse Palmer. The ABC call for Georgia kept saying his full name, Demi Sumo Carnbay. I'm like, that's a name.
That's a name.
And they said it every time they touched the ball. They said it, so it was ingrained in my head.
Probably just showing off the fact that he could pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
But
little flex. Anyways.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Let us know down in the comments who we missed, because hey, there's 36-ish FBS teams out there. I'm sure we missed somebody, but let us know down in the comments your dog of the week. We will come back next week with our version 5.0. And until next time, we will see y'all later.